Oh, buddy, that just gets me so pumped up every time I'm on the show.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So Susanna thinks that your show was clickbaity. Now ours is definitely not clickbaity.
Wow. Jeez.
I don't even know if you saw the title of today's show, Ray.
The
But
Chinese EV invasion. Will America stand its? Is this Florida? Are we just going to shoot the Chinese cars as they come into the country? Is that what we're going to do?
well, I don't know if you noticed my headline here, there, Ray. But
Red Dawn. Yeah, there you have it. Yeah, it's only
no.
slightly clickbaity.
No, yeah, I don't consider clickbaity at all. I certainly didn't see your headline and then go change ours. As soon as I saw yours.
Oh man, I don't know. I know you and I have disagreed on this, but I still think the title of the other show, the headline, was not clickbaity, and you equate it to, well, everything's going to kill us. So yeah, it was. Yeah, in the broadest possible sense, it was. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Turn down your speakers.
And then turn them back up.
And then turn them back up. Yeah, turn it back
so
up
you can hear us.
Yeah. That's just to get your attention. So I know you're paying attention. So we are talking a lot of things, but first I dug into some numbers after watching another YouTube video from, I think it was the Electric Viking the other day. Yeah, last night. I watch a lot of them. So, and they were talking about the investments of all the OEMs into their EVs.
Yes.
So I ran down some of the numbers, and I just wanted to go through them with you real fast. What every automaker sort of saying that they're going to be getting into.
What they've quasi committed to invest in their EV future. Okay.
Yep. So right now we have Nissan, who's committed $17.6 billion.
Okay. That must be on the low end, I'm guessing.
And Ford is committed $22 billion.
Okay.
GM is committed $35 billion.
Okay.
Stellantis is at $35.5 billion.
Well, because they want to lead in something.
Honda is at $46.3 billion.
Whoa.
And at the top
is
VW with $86 billion that they have committed by 2030 in EVs.
Man, isn't that like a lot of billion?
Yeah, it is. Let me ask you this, Ray. Do you know how much Tesla has borrowed over its 20-year history?
$12.87.
It's slightly higher than that.
Okay.
So it is $13.4 billion.
Okay. In 20 years.
In 20 years. So now that doesn't, obviously they've invested more than that. They got a lot from stocks and other things. But but when Tesla has borrowed in its 20 years, $13.4 billion and has come out as the top EV maker in the world.
Yes.
You look at GM and Ford, who cumulatively are putting $57 billion into it, and you go, are you just throwing money at it? Like, is that what you think is going to solve this? Because I feel like,
and I'm guessing, but correct me if I'm wrong. During that 20 years, when Tesla was borrowing $13.4 billion, I'm just guessing they borrowed it at much lower rates than what are interest rates than are available today. Just guessing. So the cost of having borrowed that money was less for Tesla than it will be for these companies if they will be borrowing a percentage of that money moving forward.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Tesla borrowed at such a low rate, like they paid the U.S. government what they borrowed from the U.S. government back early, with all the penalties for paying it early.
Wow!
Because it was so cheap.
Yeah,
they just went, like, they paid it like 6 years early. They're just like, okay, we have the money. Here you go. here's the money back for the debt. We understand we owe penalties for paying it back and all that, and they paid that off. So it was cheap enough that they could do that. Like the rates now probably aren't that great.
I think not. Yes. Yeah. Now, where are these like Volkswagen? Where the hell are they getting all that money, or where do they anticipate getting all that money
Well,
over the next 7 years or whatever it is?
Well, so it's the VW group, right?
Okay,
So
the VW group. Yeah, and I know they're a big group.
yeah. And yes, part of this, we had Michael had it hit the nail on the head. Yep. Part of that is a
Yes.
settlement for Dieselgate. And all of that. That is definitely part of it. I'm trying to see here.
It's just
50% of their sales will be electric by 2030. But yeah, they're getting it from the ID4, the Porsche, BMW, Mercedes are all part of grouping in together for part of Electrify America and all that. So I think it's all sort of combined in there.
Do we have any idea of what like Mercedes-Benz's commitment is as far as dollars are concerned, or BMW?
Let's see.
I'm sure they've got to be up there too.
They do. So BMW is 23.8 billion. Mercedes is investing 47 billion.
Wow.
And all this can be found on CarEdge.com, a wonderful article written by our own Justin. So putting the link in the description there.
Who I believe is on paternity leave. Is
he?
He
Is on. Yes. Because his wife had a baby.
Yes. Danilo.
Yes.
Did I say it correctly this time?
You did. Okay. I have pronounced it the same way you did.
Yeah.
Last time, several times myself, and Justin has corrected me, and I felt bad each time. I felt more bad the second and third time than I did the first time.
Well, don't worry. It's like me. I keep mispronouncing my neighbor's name. You know, God knows what she must call me when I'm not around. But she's nice enough to call me Ray. That's a hard name to screw up anyhow. Yeah.
So Toyota is 3.4 billion.
3.4
into the U.S. Now, I don't know what their total strategy is. I only have the U.S. number, which is 3.4 billion. So I think it's a lot more like globally, but
I'm pretty sure it would be.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know, and again, like I'm comparing what Tesla borrowed to total investment. Obviously, Tesla has invested far more than 13.4 billion.
Do we have any idea as to what Tesla's total investment is to date?
I don't. I was trying to figure that out too, and even AI digging through the web for me said, well, you'll have to dig into their holdings and findings and add that all up and do a complete investigation. And I said, yeah,
great,
that's what I was asking you to do.
Yes. Thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like having a smart aleck kid, that AI.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, I think you forget what your purpose is.
Yeah.
Your purpose is that I don't have to go do that.
You're supposed to do it, not me. Yeah. Man, I hate children like that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yes. I want the AI just to give me the answer so I don't have to go do any work for it. That's the point of AI.
Even if it's a made up answer, as some of these AI things can do.
Yeah. 100 billion just by Musk alone into the, I mean, he just in stock.
Wow.
On that one. Yeah. But I mean, we've talked about that before. He's a guy who puts his money where his mouth is. So
are you talking about my son?
No, Elon Musk. But yes, your son even more than Elon Musk. Zach lives, eats, and breathes CarEdge for sure.
He does, and he actually has money tied up in it. He was one of the initial investors. Yeah, put his own money in order to make this a reality.
Yeah. And he must sleep 2 hours a day because I know, Ray, you don't have Slack, but I have Slack, and I see the timestamps of when he is sending messages, and I think he sleeps about 2 hours a day.
Well, I know for a fact he sleeps more than that because I think I think he goes to bed about 9 o'clock at night, but he gets up about 5:30 in the morning or 5 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So because that would be 2 a.m. my time, so that's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
Which is kind of, God bless him. I'm thankful that he is as driven as he is. And I hope that someday that he doesn't lose the drive, but he figures out how to channel that drive into multiple areas of his life as
yeah.
opposed to just building a business area of his life, because he is consumed by that.
Yeah, but at his age, maybe okay. Just as long as he evolves later, hopefully. I think you and I have similar experiences of focusing maybe too much on business
Yes,
in our
yes,
lives.
yes,
So,
yes.
so I agree with you. We've had those discussions off air about some similarities. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so
So
so what Japanese EV invasion should I prepare myself for? And better yet, exactly what type of preparation do I need?
for the Japanese invasion, I think you're good.
Yes.
I think you're perfectly fine. I don't think you have to worry about it. However, the Chinese invasion,
Yeah. Oh, the
maybe a
Chinese.
little
I'm
bit.
sorry, the
Yeah,
Chinese
yeah,
invasion.
yeah.
You
Because
know,
the
I'm sorry.
Japanese were fine. We're really good friends. I don't know if you know that, but we're really good friends with the Japanese.
Yeah, I forgot for a second. I get confused.
I know.
Yesterday I said that it was January 6th when obviously it was June 6th. And today I said Japanese when I meant to say Chinese. So
Yeah,
so
I know. Yesterday you created a panic at the Capitol. I think. I think all
I
the
did
senators
I did
started going into
indeed.
hiding.
Yeah,
They were all
but
running.
I didn't say it was January 6th, 2021, for goodness sake. I just said it was January 6th. Uh, you know, and when you're my age, you're entitled to make mistakes like that.
That's well. Then I have been your age for many years, right? Um,
So so
so with the Chinese, we
yes,
have now, and obviously, the titles are what they are. However, there are some breakthrough technologies coming from China, which I
okay.
think are great. I am not an anti-Chinese person. I'm,
I didn't
but
know
I
I
think we
was.
need to pay
Are
attention.
are you suggesting that I am?
No, no,
No,
no.
okay, good.
I am. I'm suggesting that there are people out there who, no matter what China does, they'll never do anything right. But I think we do need to pay attention, and we need to be on our toes and be competitive out in the world, as
Yes,
always. Right
yes.
now, China is the one to watch, as they're the fastest movers. So right now, there's a Chinese startup, battery startup called Greater Bay Technologies, with what they're calling a Phoenix cell, uh, that can heat the battery from -4 degrees Fahrenheit to 77 degrees Fahrenheit in 5 minutes.
Wow.
So within 6 minutes, you can drive that EV in all weather conditions just fine without having a cold battery, which of course runs down your
I
range.
don't think my electric blanket works that quickly.
No,
Uh,
no. I mean, it has to be a superheater.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, and that's great because all the northern climates that we talk about all the time,
sure.
how it affects your range and everything else. If you can get the battery heated up that quickly, not even just for getting ready to charge, but get it out there to go and drive out in those cold conditions, that's fantastic. To be able to do that in 5, 6 minutes, you can preheat your car with your app and get in and go. And it's just like any other normal car at that point, or an EV, that in California style weather.
Yeah.
And then we have
Yes.
another company, uh, Goshen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Goshen High Tech recently unveiled a lithium manganese, iron
Yes.
phosphate battery, LMFP for short, that can go up to 621 miles on a charge.
Wow.
So typically, you've had to use the nickel cobalt to
Okay.
go for the range, and the LFP batteries, so not LMFP, but LFP batteries, have had a shorter range. So they charge a little bit faster. You can charge them to 100%. They're great, but they have shorter range. Now, this
Hmm.
one is saying, and I don't have the specs. I know, I'm sure we'll get the questions in there. I don't have the specs on what kind of vehicle that is. It can go
Yeah.
621 miles. I don't know if that's, a
Could be
little
a
tiny
scooter.
smart car or what it is. Yeah. But
But not to interrupt, but then again,
mhm,
that's what I do
that's what
best.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea with these newer type batteries what the degradation might be over time? Are they expected uh, to degrade less quickly than the current batteries do, or are they expected to degrade more quickly? Do we have any information along those lines?
So LFP, and obviously I don't know a lot about LMFP,
Other
but
than it's got one more letter in
yes,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
other than the manganese
Yes.
portion of it. But the LFP batteries, yes, they last longer, they degrade less. So on a normal lithium ion, like right, Ray, you know this, you're not supposed to let it go below 10% and not
Hmm.
above 90%, and don't supercharge all the time. And the LFP doesn't have those restrictions. You're actually Tesla specifically recommends you charge it to 100% at least once a week.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you can be charging to 100% all the time on it. You can be supercharging on it. It does not have the same limitations and degradations as the lithium ion. The limitation in it up to this point has been range. It just
Gotcha.
can't get, it can't, it's not as dense and it can't get that kind of range. And now it sounds like putting manganese in there um, really help
Get you that
solve
range.
part of that problem, at least with this one company right now as it's being released out there in China.
So so is the Chinese invasion going to be more battery related, or will it also be vehicle related? Because I my understanding is that China today produces the vast majority of the batteries that are used percentage wise um, in electric vehicles worldwide today. What is it? CATL? Is that the name of the company?
Yep.
And,
CATL, that's them. Yep.
and they have like what, 38% of the market or something?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're not sleeping. None of these Chinese battery companies are sleeping. To your question, yeah, I think it's going to be mainly battery technology. I don't see. I mean, BYD is a great company that's growing in China, but they don't really seem to have any plans to move to the U.S. They don't really care about selling their vehicles here, and they're not really that much cheaper than a Model 3. So, like, it's not like they're going to come charging in with it's not the 80s again, where the Japanese come charging in with super cheap vehicles. That's just not going to happen from China. What it's
Well,
going to be is batteries.
and I would think that China's domestic market is is really honestly big enough that they don't have to concern themselves with an export market at the moment. I mean,
No, and they
what's
have
the
Europe too.
population of China? 3 billion, something like that.
Yeah. And they have Europe. Europe is perfectly fine with buying their products too. And it's cheaper and faster to get them over to Europe
Sure.
than it is over to the US. So, like, I don't see a lot of that happening, like them shipping the cars. I just don't, it just doesn't seem all that feasible to me, at least in the short run. I don't know, like, my crystal ball's very fuzzy into the future, but I think right now they're doing exactly what you say. They're doing the battery game, right?
Hmm.
And is the one who's trying to push back on there. Like right now, all of their Model 3s, and I believe their Model Ys, but I'm not 100% on that. But definitely all their Model 3s qualify for the full 7,500 rebate. That means they're
Okay.
not getting any of their materials from China. So in the US, they have isolated all to at least North American or free trade partner countries. And they're not importing any of the Chinese stuff here. And Canada, they are importing Chinese vehicles because Canada doesn't have the restriction there.
Well, and
So
isn't there a
makes
27.5% tariff on the vehicles coming in from China?
yeah,
So
there's something somewhere in there. Yeah. I don't
yeah,
know what the new tariff under the new
I think
administration is, but I
on
think
that
it's the same.
Volvo article they mentioned
Uh,
that it was pretty astonishing that they hope to bring it into the price point they're expecting,
Yep.
considering that there's a 27.5% tariff on Chinese built vehicles. So
Correct.
yeah,
I just pulled up the article just now. But speaking of that, why
yes,
don't we let everyone take a look at this?
I think it's a
Uh,
great looking vehicle. I
yeah,
must
I
say.
know. So this is the Volvo EX30, and they say it's going to start at 36,145 when it arrives next summer into the U.S., and that is after the 27.5% U.S. tariff on
And
models built in
it
China.
includes the freight too. It includes the
Yeah,
destination. So if they could actually do that, that would be pretty phenomenal.
yeah. That would be. I mean, and it's a good looking vehicle. I agree with you.
Yes,
It looks a little Toyota-ish, which I don't say is a negative thing at
I
all.
thought it
Uh,
looked very Volvo-ish,
I mean, yeah,
boxy, and
the
yeah,
front with that Volvo logo right
yeah,
there, that
yeah.
makes it look very, very much like a Volvo. But
Well,
from
and
the
the
side
Thor
point of view,
and the hammer of Thor headlights or whatever it
yeah,
is, and the but yeah, I know it's and Volvos have been boxy for like ever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's sort of one of their things, and either
yes,
you like that or you hate that.
but
But I was actually remarking that it looked less boxy than some of the old ones,
yes,
and it looked a little
that's true.
more like a Toyota there. So it's going to be what 69 kilowatt hour battery on the single and all wheel drive motors, uh, 400 up to 422 horsepower, 0 to 60 on the all wheel drive in 3.4 seconds, 275 or 265-mile range. The heavy one is 4,140 pounds. So again, it's not that
Half
heavy.
of a Hummer.
Yeah, it's not a Hummer, and it's not an F-150 either.
Yes,
Um, so I like the interior even more. On the looks like they put an iPad just glued to the center,
yes,
but that's fine. You get used to that. They're doing the sparse interior, so not a lot of buttons, not a lot of controls there. But I think that's just the way it's going to go from now on. It's
I
going to
think
charge from 80%, 10% to 80%, I think is what the mean in
yes.
26 minutes, which isn't bad.
No, I think I think it's a good looking vehicle. It's just the question I would have is since Polestar is Volvo, why is I mean why does Volvo feel as if they need to compete against themselves?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that same concept with Genesis and Hyundai, though, right? Because the Polestar is not $36,000.
No, I get that, but that's the Polestar was developed as their electric vehicle
Yeah,
division, strictly electric vehicles. Obviously, Volvo is not just that, but it seems to me why
I'm
would it
guessing the
be a
Polestar is going to
Polestar?
be the luxury line, the more luxury line. That's just my
Okay,
guess out of it.
okay,
That's where they're going to go. Because the new was it the Polestar 3
yes,
um, does not look like
does not
uh,
look like the
yeah,
EX30.
yeah, does not look like the EX. Although it does say it's starting at 37,000, but
Well, it's the same damn price.
yeah. So yeah, I mean now I'm wondering more. I'm as I'm pulling up the picture. Okay, yeah, I got to show everyone. Okay, it looks more like it than I remember it looking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, Ray. I can't tell you a lot about it.
I guess it must be because they feel compelled. Volvo feels compelled that they have to have EVs in their lineup, which I guess. But then
And there's the same
if that's the
headlights
case, then
too.
what the hell do you need Polestar for?
Yeah. You know, I was I was just wrong in all my assertions that I just made. Um, I don't know, Ray. I don't know because in my head it looked different
Yeah, well,
than what it does.
slightly different front end. Yeah,
Slightly
it
different.
didn't have that big Volvo thing in
Yeah,
the center.
that's right. But it does have the Hammer of Thor headlights. So,
Yeah, so what?
um,
I,
yeah, I don't know.
sometimes when and what I love about this is it's just organic. Sometimes as we do the show, you look at some of these things and you begin to wonder, well, like, what the hell were the people who run these companies thinking? Okay,
Oh, here's an answer, Ray.
yeah,
Polestar is the direct to consumer model.
is it?
Yeah, it is. I know Polestar is direct to consumer, so they sell like Tesla.
Okay,
So, but that could very well be what the difference is because Volvo has dealerships.
yeah, Volvo has dealerships. What do they
Polestar
have?
does not.
100 of them in this country. I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
it's
lot of
not a
Volvo
lot.
dealerships.
No,
Uh,
but
uh,
yeah,
but
I mean, maybe it's performance. Although, okay, let me tag out the tech specs on the Polestar 3. 380 kilowatt dual motor, um, 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. So that's not as fast as the EX30. 270-mile range. So that's, let me go back
the
down
same.
to the specs. So it's a 5 miles more than the EX30. But yeah, nope. I have no clue. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. The
Okay,
battery is bigger in the
in the Polestar.
Polestar,
Yeah,
but the
Polestar
range is only 5 miles more.
yeah, well, it's not worth the money. And Polestar was the performance option on Volvo. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
But why that needed to be a spin-off company for EVs when you're still planning, well, the very similar EVs for your mother brand Volvo. Um,
yeah,
I, you know, to say I don't get it would be an understatement.
yep. I'm now that I'm pulling up the specs and looking here. I have no idea. I have no
Okay.
idea, Ray. Why they're doing both? Um,
I mean, it's not
there's-
like they're the General Motors of Sweden or China
yeah.
that I know of.
Let's see. What is the configure? Because I saw what was the cost of the Polestar? Yeah, $85,000 compared to 30
Really? No, I thought I
36,000.
thought no, I thought the Polestar, the smaller Polestar that's coming out. What's that going to be? 85 grand.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay.
Dual range is 89. So there has to be an upgraded interior to the Polestar.
Well, there better
At
be
least
an upgraded something. It better come with
because
a
the specs
chauffeur.
sure don't bear out what the difference in the prices
Yeah.
are. Not with 5 miles extra range, and yeah, was it up to 270 miles? And you
Wow.
go to the Volvo, and it's got 265 miles, 3.46 seconds,
Yeah.
3.4 seconds, as opposed to 4.6 seconds
And
on the
and and
Polestar.
and I'm assuming. Well, I know the Volvo one is made by Geely in China. Is the Polestar not made in China, perhaps, or is it?
No, I know there was a Polestar somewhere in America. Let's see.
The stuff we learn on this program, simply because whatever we cover raises so many damn questions.
That's right. That's right. We
Yeah,
do everything off the cuff here.
yeah. Well, why
Um,
not?
Polestar is currently made in China.
So that's made by Geely. So what the hell?
They are building a plant in. Okay, Polestar 3 will be made in South Carolina.
Okay,
Oh, alongside the EX90.
really? Okay.
90, not the 30.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So in starting next year.
Okay.
So,
And there'll be a Polestar 2, which I guess.
Polestar 2 is what Mario has, and it is made in China currently.
Okay.
So
Okay.
next year, the Polestar 3 will be built out of South Carolina,
Gotcha. And it'll be
and
90
it'll
grand.
be $50,000 more than than the Volvo, with
Okay.
not much more spec. So
Wh-
it's
wh-
got to
Which,
be it's
which
got to be
would
a
lead me.
nicer.
Well, it would lead me to believe that they're leaving half the stuff off of the Volvo.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it come with
Yeah,
seats?
we're gonna
Uh,
have to go test drive them and figure out what's going on there. I'm sure there's somebody out here who knows
yeah.
more. I have not looked into this, as you can all tell. I am looking into this live on air because we don't plan this, obviously.
Well, that takes all the
Yeah,
fun out of it if we plan it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And who has time to plan it? I don't.
No, I don't. Especially
Mhm.
at the end of the quarter, I have no time
Well,
to
the
plan these.
Polestar is very plush inside. Well,
Yeah.
from what I understand from all the crap I have ingested in my lifetime, I'm very plush inside too. Um, that's all I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Stewart says on the Volvo the battery is not included.
Take the VinFast approach. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I would be curious to see. Here we say the Polestar 3 and Volvo EX90 are comparable. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they're both being built in South Carolina. So we'll see what the EX30, which by numbers, I believe 30 is lower than 90. So it's not the top trim.
One would think not.
Yeah, one would think.
Unless it was an EX or an EXL.
Right. Well, Volvo was a Swedish company, so yeah, maybe it's the IKEA approach. You buy the EX30, and you'll just have to assemble it yourself when you get home.
It would be interesting because I know there would be no words as part of the instruction manual.
That's right.
It's just pictures. Okay, they look like they were drawn by a 3-year-old. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be consistent. Yes.
Yes. I like that.
If they're words, they would all be in Chinese anyway.
Yeah,
so.
And I would be up for that, and especially when I put a door on backwards. Damn it! I put it on backwards again. Yeah.
Put your battery in upside down, and the car only goes in reverse.
Yeah. There you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good looking vehicle, but it does look awful lot like the Polestar 3.
So yeah, it does. So
okay.
So the Chinese invasion is mostly batteries, not necessarily cars. We shouldn't expect BYD to bring their vehicles to this country.
I wouldn't think anytime soon. Like, there's no announcements of it. I don't think, like you said, there's such a large market already where they are, and China has a more decent relationship with India than we do.
Mm-hmm.
So like they can expand there a lot fast. I know Musk just signed a deal. So we'll see how that goes through. But between China and India, you don't need to go anywhere else. Your whole company can survive on those two countries for the rest of its life.
Yeah, but it seems like every movie I've ever seen about India is there's like 3 people that can afford anything. Okay. And the rest of the country is beyond poor. And I know I'm exaggerating to a certain degree because I mean, what's India's population? 1.5 billion people.
Yeah.
And so if you have like 500 million that have money and 1 billion that don't, yeah, there's still a pretty damn big market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is about what the split there is. It's about there's a 1/3 and a 2/3, and there's no middle. And that's the big thing in India. There's just no middle.
So that's what we're trying to become here in America.
I think we've been on that track for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Polestar 3 is the EX9. Yeah, which makes sense why they're building them both out of the same plant out there. So yeah, I think we're looking at batteries, and we're looking at the other thing that we're missing that I know I've mentioned before: software,
Mm-hmm.
and of course AI. China is far ahead of America in AI, and that's a gap we need to close fast because you can get locked out there, I think, really quickly. And AI is going into and it's going into cars. Even Tesla said, they're full self driving. They're putting AI end to end into that.
Wow.
That's their next move on that to make it safer and better and to see more things. So software is a big thing. Farley talked about that in his podcast the other day, that Ford needs to get much better at software. And well, most people are still ignoring that, but that has been Tesla's lead this whole time. They're most efficient because of their software.
Do we as a country have concerns about software that is produced in China? Because I think of Huawei, however you say it.
Yeah, Huawei.
Yeah, that there were concerns that there were some backdoors in that were gathering information that was being fed to the Chinese government
Mm-hmm.
for tracking purposes. That's one of the concerns about TikTok, which is a Chinese company. Would that be
Well, right? Don't
until
forget all the chips and all the computers. You're sitting there looking into a MacBook, right? Or do you think the chips on that were made?
not at the Frito-Lay plant?
No, those chips, and there's been lots of concerns about the chips in your iPhone and your
Yeah,
MacBook, and not just those. I mean, you got a Samsung
yeah,
PC, you got those chips have backdoors in them. They have programming in them for this, and there's been lots of concern from certain military people in the U.S. government.
yeah.
Um, if you're asking my personal opinion, whether we as America are taking it serious enough, I have to say, no, we're not.
Okay.
We're really not. Um, but there are factions in the military, and there are some people out there speaking about it. But let's be honest, the American people, if you said, hey, your iPhone is spying on you and it's giving the information to the Chinese, as we have said with TikTok, what's
Yes.
the standard response?
I
I
don't
don't have
care.
anything anyway.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't care.
I don't care. I don't mind
Yeah,
anyway.
I like
So
my iPhone. I'm not giving that up for
yeah,
nothing. The only thing I might give it up for is that that Apple thing that I can
I
put
know you're
over
talking
my
about the
eyes.
goggles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I gotta have them.
$3,500.
Yeah, I gotta have them goggles. I gotta have
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Hey, Apple lost $48 billion on that venture. Um,
yeah. So they're planning
which
on making it back. Is that what you're saying?
when I say they lost, I mean they lost 48 billion in stock valuation during that presentation.
Really?
Yes.
Why? Because people think it's ridiculous?
Yeah, I think people thought it was really stupid. Like their stock price started shooting up when they announced that it was coming, and Tim Cook tried to be Steve Jobs and say, "Oh, just one more thing," and he was no Steve Jobs about it. And
Yeah,
then he announced it, and then as soon as they started showing the demos of it, the stock
yeah,
price started falling.
yeah.
And then when they came out with the price, it just like took a
Plummeted.
dive. Yeah. I mean, don't
I
get me
saw.
wrong. It's they're what $3.9 trillion, something like
Yeah,
that. Like
but
so
still.
it was 3%, but still.
Well, I saw on CNET this morning that somebody said, "Oh, those goggles are great. If I wanted to watch Avatar in 3D, I I would want those goggles." Well, why do I need to spend $3,500 to watch Avatar 3D? I
Yeah.
mean, it just seems it it seems A, ridiculously expensive, and B, entirely, absolutely, positively, 100% unnecessary.
Yeah,
Um,
well, they're
and
marketing to businesses right now. Clearly, they think that's where it's going to go, and I don't. I don't see that happening. I just
yeah, you know, I don't.
Apple and Meta seem to be convinced of this technology and that people are going to start buying it at these huge exorbitant fun sums, and I just don't see that happening. Like,
People
I don't
can't
think the
afford to
market's
buy a
there.
car right now. So, well, where are people going to come up with $3,500 for these stupid ass goggles?
No, I
So you can live in a make pretend world. So you don't even have to go outside. So you can pretend that you're driving your car somewhere. Well, if that's the case, then you don't really need the car.
yeah.
Apparently,
I mean, it's a ridiculous price for something that doesn't have the backing to it yet. It doesn't have. There's not enough there. And if you're saying it's going to be a $3,500 home theater, no, thank you. Like, I'm fine with what I have now. I
I'd
don't need
rather
it.
have an actual home theater.
Yeah, for half the cost.
Yeah.
So I agree. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. But the technology part of it might be integrated in other places, and I know that's the part that a lot of places in China are looking at, and Tesla's looking at that kind of stuff. I look at that technology. I go, that's great for heads up display kind of stuff,
Yeah, I
like in
guess it
your
would be.
vehicle.
Yeah. But do I need it to be in that type of detail? I just I don't know. Oh well. I once again I got us sidetracked. I do apologize.
No, you look. I admit wholeheartedly I'm an Apple fanboy. It's a dumbass product.
Okay.
That's not going to go. Like, that's not going to fly. You can't do that. But as much as I'm an Apple fanboy, I have said for a long time, Tim Cook will be known as the most boring years at Apple. The company made so much money. So don't get me wrong. As his job as CEO,
Yes.
which is to raise Apple's stock price and make money for the company, he did a damn good job.
Yes.
He did better than Steve Jobs. But as far as a consumer goes, the most boring years at Apple ever have been the Tim Cook years, where
Wow.
they come out with some great invention and you're just like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So,
do you know what time we're approaching?
is it time for lunch?
It is indeed. Yes. So, I not to cut you off, but I
No.
need to bid you a fond farewell because I need to eat. Damn it! I've been 2 shows in a row. I need to eat. I need sustenance. Yeah.
All right. And we'll be back on Friday. And do you know
Yes.
what Friday is?
No.
Well, this is episode 49 of
Oh my
Unplugged.
God, that'll be episode 50.
So we will have our 50th episode on Friday.
Wow.
And
Do we have any special guests?
I'm going to line somebody up. We're going to have maybe a couple people on.
Okay.
And we'll celebrate. I was really hoping that Justin would be back by Friday, but I think he's still going to be out on maternity leave. So I'm not going to bother him with that, even though it would be great. So he'll just have to wait for another
apparently
50
he'll be on
episodes.
episode 53.
Oh, he can wait another 50 episodes and he can celebrate on episode 100. Because lest we forget, he did start the channel, and I never forget that.
He
always
did.
Grateful to him.
He did. Well,
so
I will
enjoy
see
your
you
lunch
back here on Friday.
All right. We will see you on Friday. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.